We'll see what happens. Now we're gonna be loading up into the draft here for game number 1. It's a best of 5 series between Onic and AP Bren, once again looking for that grand final slot, getting one step closer to their goal here. And we'll see how they want to pace this draft. You can already see the Fairness being taken out, but where are they falling here? Once again with the draft, the bans, Minotaur, Kaja, Valentina, heroes that are constantly picked up or banned out. This is the right course though. Again, game 1 here, Onic on the blue, AP Bren on the red.
Something really interesting about this though, just to start off, the Fermis during group stage wasn't the most popular band. It was sitting at like number 8, number 9 slot in most picked and banned. And over the past of knockout stage, it has shot up. It is even more picked and banned than the Matilda right now. It has just become a pick so important to so many teams. And then another interesting band on the side of AP Bren, something that we're not seeing a whole lot of teams do, is banning out that Kaja, showing that maybe they want to try something a little different, want to maybe try something a little more fast-moving, maybe some, something with dive potential, something like the Joy that is open right now, something like the Nolan that is open right now. Both teams leaving so many of that Trinity kind of open right now from the jungle side.
Okay. Those being open, if that is not a Joy ban, are we expecting the Joy or maybe even the Bruno?
It's interesting not to see assassin bans against Kyrie, right? That's been the main way of attack for a lot of the teams, main angle to attack. It's Kyrie. It seems like for AP Bren, they've decided to go a different route here. I like the Bruno man coming through here to get CW off of a pick that he's been phenomenal on. Heck, I feel like CW, this tournament has just been phenomenal. He has been the highlight for me in the knockout stages alongside Mr. Marco.
All right, so...
Open. Someone else is open.
Yeb's going to pick up the Nolan. So I'm wondering, does Ducky have a plan here, right? what is...
Phoveus isn't banned out.
Phoveus is open.
First pick, are we seeing that? On for the side of AP Bren?
I don't think so. I think last pick in the first phase.
I think you want to get the Bruno. You want to get something very strong up front, something powerful. Because if you're giving up the Nolan and the Bruno, that is a huge problem. So Bruno, Gwyn.
I think it's a good plan. They already locked in the Gwyn, but no.
Matilda.
They go Matilda. That's open as well. You can at least provide some of the mobility, the utility that Matilda brings. We've seen a lot of playmaking happen from other teams as well, just utilizing this hero, and we know it's banned quite a bit, honestly. So 2 heroes now that kind of slipped through the cracks so far for this first phase.
I love, and I'm wondering, Ducky coming into this game, it's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to leave a lot of things open and see how things go. This is a great game to kind of test the boundaries, test the waters, come into game 1, and both coaches love to do this. We saw it from Coach Yeb, letting the Benedetta, letting Kyrie play the Benedetta. It's a great time to test things out, but giving up the Nolan and the Bruno is pretty huge here. On the side of AP Bren, we do have some great divers. We have some great engagers with the Gwyn and the Matilda. We've seen some of those heroes fall before. They're going to pick up the Rizla. And we got a little bit of some information. Sky is the limit.
Wow, Onic has the highest gold lead difference against opponents with an average of 8,245
An
per
average.
game. That's crazy.
An average.
An average of 8,245.
If there's a rich guy, there's got to be a rich team, right? So
far, Onic are the rich team of the tournament, but AP Bren are definitely looking to take that away. You can see the emphasis, huge emphasis around trio mid-control with the Guinevere, the Matilda as well. They want to get in and get out as fast as possible to secure neutral objectives. And when Onic goes for more damage output, AP Bren goes for more maneuverability. Thing is about Onic's comp here, aside from the Bruno, is it's dodgeable, right? The Nolan and the Terizla, both these heroes, if you dodge away from them, most of the damage will actually be negated. And for AP Bren, this is the pick that we already spoke about. It is bound to be picked up when the Nolan is left open and the Phoveus is left open.
So that leaves the question right here, Trex, is you kind of know, all right, we picked Nolan, we're probably going to have to give up this Phoveus. We didn't ban it out, it's going to be taken. So if you're Onic, how do you build around this to go ahead and kind of go against a counter already against the Nolan?
I mean, you have a few options, right? You could go for the old, overload strategy. You can go for something that maybe heals you up a bit. Go for maybe the more sustainable roamer, something like the Raph, or you go for something, I think the Diggy could fit here a little bit against the Gwyn, against the Matilda. If AP Bren wants to even huddle down more onto CC, it could be an answer, but it's definitely something that could get slotted last here. On the side of Onic, though, I think anytime going against a Phoveus, another good idea is just try to muscle down on it in the early game. Try to slow down Phoveus as much as possible, because if he has a rough early game, it can really kind of push him back into the super late game comparative to the rest of the heroes.
Yeah, and with that, Brody's going to be taking out a hero that is traditionally the matchup against the Bruno, right? This time around, it's taken out. We know how the statistic played out up to this point, so that might go ahead and just be like, hey, Onic, we're okay letting Super Marco possibly just play the Claude again. You know, go into that matchup, deal with that. But then the other thing, too, is what do you put in the mid lane? Onic, do they want to put Sans again on this Novaria pick that has worked for him so well through the course of, you know, just M5 alone? But real quick, too, looking at the Matilda comparison between Keyboy and Ogwyn, how's this looking, Trex?
I mean, right now, Ogwyn with an 80% win rate on the Matilda on the side of Onic. Keyboy with a 66.7. But honestly, Onic hasn't been favoring the Matilda as much as a lot of other teams. Overall, KDA Ogwyn sitting at number 1. I mean, it's a tough call to make.
It's interesting, too, because I'm not sure where he lies now in terms of KDA, but remember where Ogwyn was sitting. He was at the top, right?
Number 1.
Number 1, I think it was an 8.8 back before we got to phase of knockouts 2 here. So really that Matilda comparison alone kind of, you know, lines up with that. Now, once again, the Claude was banned out. Where does this leave Super Marco even for the gold lane against the Bruno matchup?
The only hero I can think about right now has to be, you know, the carry and the Beatrix, right? Those two heroes are still up for grabs. The Khalid gets chosen first. They know that, well, Ixia could be a very good choice
Matilda
as well. With the Matilda, you're right.
Oh, we saw that combination.
Yeah.
Literally just yesterday. It was
I think
yesterday.
it's a given right here,
In game number
honestly.
5, I believe, right? Against you soon. But you can really see for Onic here, it's really strange usually to see a Brody ban when a Terizla is already picked up, right?
Yeah.
I think they know that AP Bren want to go for offense is the best defense kind of route. They want to dive in, and when they do dive in like that, penalty zones will be used in a defensive manner, and that's when the Brody can actually free hit. So it's actually a good read, in my opinion, by Onic to ban out the Brody, ban out the Claude as well, take any sort of maneuverability away from their gold lane.
Like this pickup, Lilia gets locked in, another hero that has been making waves up to this point, just how much damage you can do. It's nearly up there with Novaria and Valentina, of course, and then the Tigreal to cap it off here for Onic's lineup.
All right, so they have a few answers with the Tigreal, right? They're able to possibly mess up the Khalid here during those sand guards, during those clinch moments. Another thing, a great way to stop Phoveus is to lock him down for enough time that he doesn't even have time to pop the Demonic Force. And the amount of damage that Onic is bringing to this game, anyone that gets caught in that implosion could easily be taken out. They have huge damage from Nolan, huge damage from Lilia, huge crit damage from the Bruno. This is an aggressive composition right here. Will it scale though? Like yes, it scales, but is it too all or nothing?
It's a good question, right? Oh, whoa! This was a pickup that, you know, our old good buddy Renmar was hoping for yesterday. It's going to be high noon here, right? Clint locked in, yeehaw. Super Marco, this is a hero that he loves to pick up. We saw this even back in ISF. It was played with the Claude a lot of the time. So it was either those, and they kind of cornered him into this pocket. He picks it up now in this first game.
Even in SPS, right, we did see the Clint start to be very popular amongst, for sure, Mr. Marco. Me and Leo even gave him the nickname Sheriff Marco whenever he's on the Clint. So Sheriff Marco's in town.
Sheriff Marco's in town.
So I think, honestly, it's a great pick. I mean, it's an okay pick. The Ixia is decent, but what it can do is it can kind of kite back with that second skill. If the Nolan's coming after him, it does have some abilities of that, the heroes that are trying to dive onto it, to where Ixia does not have that. So maybe that's going through the mind.
Going through the mind or not, we're going to be loading up into the land of Dawn. Once again, game number 1 here, the upper bracket final. The team to start the lead here will have the momentum. It's Onic versus AP Bren. As we take a look at these early rotations here, Kyrie going to be on the Nolan, who has been constantly banned out. And when it's been locked in, teams have had to come up with an answer against it. Does AP Bren have that answer?
They might. There's no other reason you would actually leave the Nolan open unless you already have some countermeasures against it, especially when you're up against Kyrie. Keyboy, very early on, going to be chunked down already by AP Bren. And this is what Onic will have to deal with the entire day. Every time AP Bren gets a small win, you can hear a big reaction from the crowd.
All right, taking a look at some of the emblems. Does look like Sans is going to go for a little bit more utility there, get some movement speed, get some cooldown, but Boots building pretty aggressively, building sustainably, going for some spell vamp there, could be the answer. So far, we've seen the Khalid with so much damage, and we've seen the Khalid actually win out on top of the Terizla recently. It does become a little bit of a skill matchup, but Flapteezy with the movement speed doesn't have to pick up the Boots here, and he can still probably outspeed Boots here. So definitely going to be interesting the way that this EXP lane pans out overall. I'm excited to see how it works. And hold up, so wait, it is, we completely looked over this. It is mid lane Phoveus.
Yeah. You know, again, when that Khalid was locked in, we didn't really point it out, but I think a lot of people at this point, they're so used to Few just being like, all right, I'm going to throw a Fredrin in the main lane. Hey, I might throw the Phoveus there, and they make it work usually, right? That's one thing, again, when we talked about both these teams, the capability to go ahead and just channel that hero pool, bring something surprising out, or make it work is what gives them that advantage in a lot of these matches. And again, considering this is what AP Bren loves to do. Go ahead and focus on these objectives.
Penalty zone onto the back view. Now Demonic Force ready. Kalteezy picks up the first turtle.
Oh!
Amazing sandstorm from Flapteezy as well to claim first blood and a double kill to start things off in game number 1.
So before the point that I'm about to give was already shown, having the Phoveus in the mid lane, especially against the Nolan, overall just feels like such a smarter choice than putting it into the XP, because you get to just follow the Nolan around. You get to always be there in these team fights. You get to rotate. So I think it is such a smart maneuver to stick this on to Few. Sometimes it's more of a, oh, we just have to put it there. But I think honestly, this was the plan from the start.
Interesting fact here as well. Guinevere and Matilda combination. It's been picked 6 times, but the win rate for M5 is 83%. That is a strong duo, if you will, between the heroes, right? The way they interact. Look at this already, the aggression from Ogwyn.
I mean, it's essentially a guaranteed knock-up for the Guinevere. You hit the Circling Eagle, Guinevere just travels around with you. Let's say you knock 2 up. All Guinevere has to do is pop the Violent Requiem, and you don't even have to land your Spatial Migration or anything like that. So definitely works out well. And then all of it just pairs so well. The whole mid-net lane of AP Bren just complements each other perfectly right now.
Again, that's one of the strengths there as well. Having the Nolan, you have the Fracture, can help you get out of some of those landing spatial migrations, but still the pressure.
Whoa! Requiem into the spatial migration, into the Demonic Force! That's an implosion by Keyboy, a flicker to the wall. A Demonic Force again for the side of AP Bren to find a kill. Sans not gonna be caught in another spatial migration. They're styling on Onic in the 4th minute of the game, stealing the purple buff away.
Not only are they styling, but this is the AP Bren you do not see all the time. Normally they take it slow. Normally they strangle them, but right now they are slamming into Onic at full force.
The 2.3K lead they've garnered themselves now, the second turtle here. Onic though, despite all that, still want to go ahead and focus on this, but AP Bren making their way for the fight.
Risky move, Flapteezy poking Boots down right now as Ogwyn flies by Keyboy. Knocks him out with a Circling Eagle. Sans is looking for an angle. Kalteezy on the turtle. Penalty zone coming down as well. That's going to be Kyrie who secures the turtle, but a Violent Requiem. Spatial Migration with a Raging Sandstorm knocks 2 up, and it's a 2-kill trade for the neutral objective.
Was it worth it?
No.
Probably not. But he got the turtle. Kyrie is having to put in extra work to just get these objectives even close, but every time AP Bren has an answer.
AP Bren is everywhere right now, all at once. And like I said before, you don't see him play like this very often, but I think that was part of the plan. Let's catch Onic off guard. Let's come in like no other team is going up against Onic. Like most teams come into the game a little bit worried. They want to take it slow. But AP Bren knows their strong points. They know they have the ability to bully any team in the bracket. And Onic, for the first time in a while, is feeling that pressure.
Again, as they put the pressure in the jungle. AP Bren wants to work around this lead. Real quick, items, how's it looking here, Trex?
So far, the main thing I want to point out is into this gold lane. Neither of them oh, wait a second.
Another penalty zone into an implosion right now. Comboed in together with a Guiding Wind. They're able to get out, but the Violent Requiem once again comes down to turn things around. few. Getting one final shot to the force. Kyrie dashing away, but Hugh is inevitable. San's getting gunned down by Sheriff Marco. 3 for 0.
9-0 at 6 minutes in. What is going on? The Hive is buzzing, and Onic is having trouble keeping up. Back to the items now. Kyle Teasy is on fire, 4,300 gold. He's got almost a full 2K gold leader, a 1.5K gold lead over Kyrie right now. Kyrie has only gotten in the Hunter Strike. On the side of Kyle Teasy, we've got the Dreadnought. We've got the Molten Core getting started. I mean, it is becoming a problem.
So let's think about it here once again, given the fact that AP Bren heavily in the lead right now, most likely we'll be able to just secure this turtle as well. The third one of the game, it's better for Onic just to wait, buy time, get to a point where you are online. Kyrie has struggled for the majority of this. Sands needs a couple items as well in this Lilia to help pump out the damage. And with that, the next turtle's taken here for AP Bren, and they go right for the purple buff, but Kyrie does not get it this time. Kyle Teasy.
He's feeling a CW now. In that goal, be dove on. He doesn't even need Kyle Teasy to jump on him. It's Trooper Marco who gets him down with the quick draw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, partner.
And he just locked in the Berserker's Fury for Super Marco. He's gonna be unloading. He hasn't even come into the equation yet. Onic, on the other hand, oh, wait a second.
You're going again?
Spatial migration of the Violent Requiem into the Raging Sandstorm. The Wombo combo once again under the tier 1 to catch Keyboy for the 4th time in this game. 11-0. AP Bren slaughtering Onic.
And Flap Teasy just got in the Blade of Despair as well. A lot of time he won't build that up front, but when you have this much of a lead, you are just gonna hammer that item in. And now that is gonna put them even more ahead. That double combo that they've been landing every time, the Violent Requiem onto 1 or 2 members, Flap Teasy comes in with the Raging Sandstorm. How does Onic even compete with that? Using Keyboy right now on the Tigreal, I'm wondering whether that was a good pick. I was wondering if they should go for something a bit more supportive. They went for the aggressive Tigreal, but the thing is how can Keyboy catch any of them? The movement is everywhere, from the spatial migration, the guiding wind, all of the above. It just seems like a very tough game for Onic.
Tough game as well for Kyrie as in terms of the jungle, resources go. Flap Teasy though, look at the damage, but Boots gonna fight back. Okay, both ultimates used. Once again, Kyle.
Spatial migration, the fracture grants Kyrie but from everything else. Ogwen's perfect circling eagle into Kyle Teasy's Requiem.
Again, difficult game here for Kyrie and everyone for Onic. The layering of ultimates is just on point from AP Bren right now. Lord gonna be up, and they have all control right now in this game in the 9th minute, as this first Lord will go to AP Bren undecisively.
AP Bren, 8.8 gold lead.
They're at the average, bro.
They're at the average. They're at Onic. They're passing Onic's average right now. I don't think Onic was prepared for this type of aggression in game number 1. I think they completely got caught off guard. Onic right now in complete shambles of game 1.
Look at that.
I know it's a long series.
Look at that.
But Kyle Teasy feels good.
Kyle Teasy's feeling good, as he should. Alongside, once again, the 10,000 gold lead now. We have to say that we have seen things turn around before, given 10,000 gold leads, but at this point, it just looks like Onic doesn't have the potential to find the setups they're looking for, even with a Tigreal combo. The Wombo combo is not there for them because the damage is just not online yet. Even CW, it's taken him so long at this point to get to where he needs to be on the Bruno. But now they have to deal with the Lord topside and AP Bren knocking on the base of Onic as they approach into it.
Looking for the siege with the first Lord of the game up top. Boots holding it down right now, but the Circling Eagle does come through from the side of Ogwen. Knocks Boots up just a bit. Kyle Teasy pushing some damage as well. Kyrie with a fracture. Not with the fracture, just with the passive alone. Takes the Lord down. Still value for AP Bren, but Keyboy spot out. Flap Teasy with a few slashes. A good shove back for the rest of the team, but that's a flicker burnt out by Keyboy, and that's even more value for the Bees.
A good play by Keyboy there. The average roamer may have panicked, hit the implosion. He knew I just got to get out of here. If I hit the implosion and try to force my team out when we're at a 10K gold deficit against AP Bren, it's just not a smart play. Taking a look at the items, right now Super Marco getting decked out. Looks like he's going to be working into the BOD next. Once he gets out, then it's a lot of trouble.
That's a dive all the way. Caltizi able to knock up one. Ogwin doing a little bit of that capitalization, but Onic were still able to fend off of this defense. AP Bren falling back, playing it disciplined. They are calm. 12-0, 10,000 goal lead. That's big bounties on the board if they lose their lives.
Yeah, they gotta keep it together, right? Take the discipline route. Now, the one thing, too, that has been pointed about AP Bren in M5 specifically is the chance that sometimes they do let these leads kind of slip out of hand a little bit, right? But for the most part, they're able to keep things under control. Now, this time, Onic looking to punish a mistake from AP Bren. Where could that mistake be when constantly it's AP Bren on the aggressor?
We do have to say, if there's any team that could come back onto AP Bren from a 10K gold deficit, if I had to choose one, I would definitely say Onic. They do have some scaling efforts here with the Lilia. We know how much damage Sans can do or Lilia can do if this game creeps on. Same thing with the Bruno. They have set potential with Keyboy. But that is a long road ahead. They're gonna have to defend this now. They do have Kyrie. If Kyrie can go for some sort of, magic Lord steal, which we've seen him do before, it can buy time, but he has to do that on a solo mission. And that is a solo death mission at that, but it would be worth it. As long as the other 4 members stay up, if he goes down for a Lord steal, it could be fair.
Okay, given the fact that this is gonna be another Lord here for AP Bren, uncontested, no entry points, no angles for Onic to go, but itemization-wise, they're getting to the point, right? 13 minutes in, they were quite behind. They're still far behind, but they're picking up some key items that could help them in the team fight. 2 Malefic Roars now for them, the Divine Glaive as well for Sans. That's going to be something he needs as well to help with the team fight. But again, when you're dealing with nearly what's across from you economy-wise, item-wise, it's going to be tough to turn these fights around. So they have a little bit longer. Lord going up on the top side.
You look at the gold lead between the gold lane, jungle, and mid, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. And then you see a 4,000 gold lead between the XP laners. Flaptease, he said in the interview, he's going to sweep Onic, and right now, he's feeling that confidence.
To really put it into perspective, it takes about 62K gold to have everybody maxed out. Onic is halfway there, and we're 14 minutes in.
And the Lord just came crashing down, taking 1 turret down. San's going to be engaged on a good black shoes. And that's a spatial migration in the Violet Requiem. Baited out from AP Bren. Kyrie dealing some damage with the help of CW to clear out that enhanced Lord in the 14th minute of the game. Look at the defend in the mid lane. Raging Sandstorm coming down CW. Still able to dash away. A penalty zone. Onto Flaptease. Kyrie jumps into the fracture as well, but spatial migration dodged away from Keyboy. Two back. No implosion just yet. He already used it initially, and it's not enough CC to lock any of the AP Bren members down.
Hey, that held it together. Onic stays in the game a little bit longer.
The way that they juggled that as well, back and forth, didn't lose a single member, honestly, is a miracle in a sense. Onic able to kind of juggle all of that damage, use the skills correctly, and nobody went down. And this is at a 12,000 goal.
Oh! Big shove over Raging Sandstorm, though. Not going to be able to catch anyone. Boots in the back line, finds the penalty zone. Oh! 4 members, almost turning it around, bring it back. Super Marco, grenade bombardment to poke them down. One more shot might take CW out, and he dashes out of it, slides out of the range.
Still, AP Bren, you're seeing it happen, right? The further the game goes, they got to respect this damage now from Onic a little bit more, right? We talked about the key items being picked up, the Malefic Roars, the Divine Glaives, allowing some of this penetration to go through now. It's happening here, but still, there's quite a disparity amongst the lanes here, the roles.
All right, so taking a look back at these items, CW still trying to bide a bit of time, but he's got the Malefic Roar in now. So he's got 3 items in. He's able to actually punch a nice bit of damage. We saw how fast he can melt down the Lord. Honestly, at this point, AP Bren was testing the waters in a sense of, can we end the game without a Lord here? Can we do something huge here? No. I don't think they can at all. They're definitely going to need the Lord, which means they need to wait a little bit. They can't try to force this. If they do and they get caught in that bottleneck, Onic could catch them off guard.
The 12,000 gold lead ahead right now, but Super Marco, again, he went for the Great Dragon Spear here as his final item, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and so no win in nature, right? That does give an opportunity to Onic to maybe look for a dive, a flank towards Super Marco, but for CW, he actually is building towards that win in nature.
Yeah, that could change the course of some of these fights. He also just picks up the DHS. Can have that available. Keyboy, though.
Caught in the circling eagle into the foul Requiem, into the space of migration, and it gets melted down, taken out. That's an unstoppable record for Flapteezy. AP Bren pushing their lead even further, catching Onic once again, and picking up, this time still, an enhanced Lord.
Becoming a little bit of a problem here. Onic still on the back foot, and I'm talking waves coming in from every angle. If they can pull off another defense, they've got 17 seconds until Keyboy is back up. He was very important in defense.
Whoa! Black shoes, barely in time. Flapteezy able to flicker out with a quick sand guard as well, but the demonic force comes down onto the base. AP Bren have dealt with two base. CW's low, very low, forced back, still not dead though. Keyboy respawning back in time, but AP Bren will have an enhanced Lord up top, marching down.
You know, there's something really important we got to point out here. Onic is still yet to get a singular kill.
Yeah.
Kyrie has not found anybody. What is going on right now? Lord encroaching in.
This is a big one. AP Bren looking for an opening to get an initiation few. Getting the shield with a photo as well from the side of Ogwin with a guiding wind. Now Flapteezy to be poked down by Sans with the Gloom's View. Caught off guard. Has the Winter Truncheon. Has the guiding wind. Gets out. 3 base turrets, and AP Bren decide we're out of here.
They're out of here, and Onic still looking for a kill on the board, and even a turret. They have no space to work around with right now, but one thing's for sure, they're fighting. Their base is fully exposed, but the damage is getting there. Once again, they're working towards it. Kyrie onto his next item as well. But again, how many times can you let that happen? How many times can you defend against that Lord pushing in now that your base is fully exposed here? The gold lead has bloomed to nearly 16,000 now for AP Bren. Flapteezy still having that immortality, will be fine. But once again, it's kind of the waiting game, right? They're going to wait nearly the 1 minute for the Lord unless they can get a pick off.
So it took about 5 minutes for them to move from 30K gold to 44. So for them to get to that point where the gold doesn't matter anymore, we're talking about at least another 5 or 6 minutes. Can Onic last that time to where then it just comes down to plays? Then it just comes down to the movements on the map.
Circling Eagle coming down onto Keyboy, knocks 2 up. It's Kyrie and Boots right now, and they're looking for a re-engage. That's Flapteezy, who's able to steal away the orange buff from Onic. A retribution used up, but it's going to be back on time for that Lord.
Let's go ahead and think about the possibility here of, is there a chance that Onic can actually get in position to possibly steal a Lord at this point, right? This is,
Black Shoes baited out. Flapteezy taken low though. The demonic force is ready for you. Decides to go. Fighting tackle out. Flapteezy only losing immortality. Sounds gonna be able to kite away for it now. Kyrie's waiting in the midst. View coming down. Keyboy with a lot of damage, with a lot of CC lockdown. Kyrie tries to shut down the fracture as well. Sans still able to kite away. Flapteezy looking for one final hit with retribution. Slows him down. Sans pops into Black Shoes. Flapteezy not able to dish out enough damage, and Sans gets out in time. Boots still alive. Onic still alive. 1 for 1. My goodness.
they're on the board.
Finally a kill on the board. 1 for 1. But honestly, that is a win for Onic. A trade at this much of a deficit. 10K more gold is what Onic needs here. But you asked if they could go for the Lord. I think at this point, it is definitely possible because AP Bren has hit their peak in power at this point. Onic is only going to continue to go up as they get more items in. Everybody's essentially decked out on the side of Bren, and we're already seeing Onic start to contest.
CW is back. Flapteezy now, only now is he starting to march into that Lord pit. Keyboy's trying to reset it the best he can. Topside wave still coming down onto Onic's base. They need to be able to do that housekeeping.
They're going to have to deal with these waves. Meanwhile, AP Bren going to keep the Lord less than half health for now. They're going to send CW back to deal with it. Flapteezy also putting the pressure. Onic's going to run back. Ogwin using the Circle Eagle, but nothing can happen just yet. Kyrie, though, he's got to get out as well.
But the Lord 20 minutes in, CW had to move up top. They had to send him down.
Not a whole lot they could do there. Maybe switch over to Boots, but they want that engage. They want to try to give Kyrie enough space, and I get the idea, right? CW, yes, he's their damage dealer, but I don't think they were going for a team wipeout or anything. They're going, let's buy time. Let's get a moment where we can CC everybody and Kyrie can steal the Lord. That was denied. Taking a look at the items, everybody on the side of AP Bren is decked. Can Onic defend this, Mirko?
Not too sure about this, man. I mean, 13,000 gold lead for AP Bren, but like you said, the later the game goes, Onic will make that gold lead irrelevant. Kyrie's dealing some damage. They're actually holding out the waves.
Yeah, with that too, Super Marco is going to pick up the Wind of Nature for this fight. It comes down to this Lord push as both teams poke back and forth.
Winter Truncheon already used up by few. He swapped into Immortality right now. CW being brought back to the team right now. It's a Raging Sandstorm. Will be hours away from by Kyrie. CW pops into Wind of Nature, able to shot some damage. Kill. The base is wide open, but it's going to be cleared out. Sans in the back, doing some damage. Immortality's falling left and right. AP Bren losing members. Caltees with the patient by Great. Base! An implosion! And just like that, the Sky Kings descend from the skies back to the Philippines!
I've got chills right now. What is going on, Onic? At 22 minutes, making the comeback. Are they going to be able to run this down mid?
I said let's dream earlier. What just happened? Taking a look at the instant replay presented by Kadia. It just unfolds here. Masterclass Keyboy finds the implosion of a lifetime.
Keyboy, that one play. Now the base is wide open. One straight push. Is it all they need? Onic! What in the world was that? It should not have happened. It couldn't have happened. It happened.
It happened here. Game one. Killless, turretless, 14K behind, and Onic comes back and takes game one.
We're talking at 15 minutes. 0 kills on the board. How? Nothing.
How?
It's Onic time.
Oh man.
I have nothing to say.
Again, when you count them out, that just happens again. Fully exposed base, everything going in favor of AP Bren, and they turn it around.
All they had to do was buy time. They knew their goal. They knew the assignment. They knew their objective, and that clock was ticking. I called it from around 13 minutes. They need just a little bit longer.
I'm sorry, casters. We gotta take it away, but even for us, that was an incredible game.
22 minutes. We've held it. We've held it.
Look, we're at a loss for words for good
man.
reason, but we're gonna try and break this down. And especially from our POVs, it looked like an almost impossible situation to come back from. Like, what a goal lead they held from the 12th minute onwards. Like, this should not have happened in the first place.
And to be fair, it's not like Bren or AP Bren are mindlessly jumping into the opponent. It's not like that. It's not a game where they were just throwing bodies at AP Bren, at Onic. It's crazy. But let's break it down, right? There are so many MVP performances that you would give to the side of AP Bren, but this guy, oh my God!
Give it to him.
Give it to him.
The God play at 22 minutes, flickering in to catch 3 and turn this game around. This is what we call a revolution. This is the moment where it's like, enough oppression. It's time for us to be free.
After the updates on the Tiger, where you're able to kind of suck your opponents into that big bubble, into that implosion, you would think that, okay, yeah, surely that is going to be a broken ultimate, right? But nobody actually used it like that. Keyboy used the dash as well as the flicker in combination with one another so that he's able to land that beautiful implosion at the end. The timing and his patience was just so good.
It's one of those moments where you fail to imagine how he's able to pull it off. Right?
Exactly.
From his POV, all he sees is just a leg.
Yeah, you're right.
He roughly can tell that there's 3 people there. Let's jump into these highlights and really break this down step by step, because I think from the drafting phase alone, we could see that there was a huge priority for the side of AP Bren after the first turtle.
It's all about lane prio for AP Bren, which I like, because what they did was to win the laning stage, including the jungle and the side lane, so that they can actually invade time and time again. They're trying to invade all the time, and even after there's a lot of protection from the implosion, it's not enough, because if you're going to be thinking about the lineup of AP Bren, they have 4 dives. Matilda, Guinevere, Phoebus, and Khalid, all very good in the early stages of the game.
I mean, they're really hardcore heavy dive, and the momentum that they generated by the 7th minute alone, we're already at 6 minutes, but you can see that the lead increases significantly. And it got even worse for Onic, because as soon as those tier 1 started to fall, the neutering began.
Yes.
Purple buff taken away, and then the initiations coming in from Flapteasy enables them to do whatever they want. And when you think it's over, Ogwen's just going to pull them away.
If anything, AP Bren just showed us how to jungle choke. They had a wonderful way of doing it. They cleared the waves in the middle, and they make sure that 4 of them will be into that purple buff at the most perfect time, and they will try to just do their best. And I guess it is one of the better initiations coming out from Onic, but I didn't think that there will be another like this, especially after AP Bren secures the Lord. Obviously, Few got baited into that spot. Look at T-Boy. Look at that flicker and that dash. You would think that he was targeting Kaltizi, but no, he wasn't. He utilized the flicker so that he can skewer the other people to the backlines.
It's one of those moments where the genius of it is most people would hope that when you are pushing your opponents away, that's when you're expected to use your implosion. But instead, he just needed to close the distance. He just needs to be close enough to catch you. Now, let's have a look at the item build here, because this is where it becomes the most important for everybody, right? From emblems, starting from the emblems, immediately we see high priority on we need to be able to fight. I'm already seeing a Master Assassin. I'm already seeing a Concussive Blast coming up from Flap.
And it's also important to take note of the Purify that we saw from Mr. Few, so that he's able to utilize this full views to its full advantage from the early stages up until the late stages of the game. So it's not just about the emblems, it's also about the spells that they were able to get. And I gotta dare say, this was AP Bren's game already. Like the way that they drafted it, the way that they composed this lineup against AP Bren, definitely they can win, but you know, it's not as easy as that. When we look at the items, Gideon, I want to point out one important itemization I saw from Kaltizi in the early stages. Even though they lost, I think it's still genius. They utilized this Molten Essence, casual Molten Essence, and Dreadnought Armor for the first 5 minutes of the game. Even when there's no full item yet for the Guinevere, he tanked up everyone. Nobody can touch him from the side of Onic.
And the best part is once he does start getting ahead, he has people like Ogwen to actually pull him out of these dangerous situations with quick follow-ups from, well, especially Flapteasy, the greediest EXP laner I've seen so far. Second item, Blade of Despair, to ensure that they maintain that lead. It's some incredible gameplay, even for Super Marco, right? Second item, Berserker's Fury, after the endless battle. It gets extremely dangerous from that point on. But keep in mind, despite the rich guy being Super Marco, breaking down turrets like they're absolutely nothing, as soon as we see the Ice Queen Wong coming up from Gilak Sans, the carry of this game, that's when it started to get really difficult for AP Bren to penetrate into the base.
Sans is the only player that I've seen play the Lilia so aggressively against his opponents when being down, what, 14k, 12k? Recalling in front of the champions of MPL Philippines at home stage. He's the only one that can do that. That guy's crazy.
He really is. He really is, and he kept the team together. A lot of these base defenses, and especially during these team fights, it's important to keep in mind how they're actually approaching it without a Matilda. They're just trading back and forth constantly, and it's not ideal in some of these senses, but I think it's extremely important to note that when you are deciding on how to approach a situation, and more importantly, once you are that close into the base, from both perspectives, you're looking to defend, but at the same time, AP Bren did not want to get caught and get turned around like that. You saw it at the 15th minute, right? They're just very careful with the way they approach Onic.
And to think about the composition of AP Bren, it's not like they don't have a lineup to end the game. They have a Clint with enough range to be safe while taking down the base building. Few was baited into the backlines with the ultimate again from Sans, which again, Sans outplayed so many members of AP Bren in this particular match. And this is what we expected. It's a Few versus Sans matchup. And you shade of black and yellow for sure.
Absolutely disgusting. I mean, from both of these teams, they have absolutely crushed what the metagame is to most people, right? You're thinking that Tigreal, he's out of the meta. No. M-Series has proven that he's worthwhile, and I think Keyboy this time